Hey there, I'm Emily Muhlstein with the Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council, and I'm here with a video presentation on a public hearing for Reef Fish Amendment 45 that addresses the red snapper sector separation sunset provision. We're here because in 2015, Reef Fish Amendment 40 was implemented. That amendment defined two distinct components of the red snapper recreational fishery. There is a private angling component, which was allocated 57.7% of the recreational red snapper resource, and that component contains both private anglers and then charter or guide boats that are state licensed but do not have federal permits. And then there's a federally permitted for hire component, and that component was allocated 42.3% of the recreational red snapper resource. So this provides a basis for management approaches that can be tailored to each separate component because they are pursuing their own annual catch limits individually of one another. So Amendment 40 contains a sunset provision. Sector separation will end at the end of 2017 unless the Council decides to take some additional action. This amendment that we're addressing today, Amendment 45, proposes to either extend or remove that sunset provision altogether. As you've probably noticed, the federal red snapper season has been declining. In 2015, which was the first year that sector separation was implemented, the private angling season in federal waters was 10 days, and then there was a number of different state water seasons that allowed for additional fishing opportunities for those private anglers. The federal for hire component of the fishery had a 44-day season in 2015, and they are not allowed to fish in those state water seasons. For 2016, the projected federal season will be 9 days for those private anglers who will also have state water season opportunities, and then 46 days for federally permitted for hire vessels. So let's go over the different alternatives that are possible in this amendment. The first alternative is the no action alternative. So the separate management of the federal for hire and private angling components of the recreational red snapper fishery will be effective through the end of 2017. Alternative 2 is the Council's current preferred alternative, and that will extend the separate management of the federal for hire and private angling components of the recreational red snapper fishery for an additional number of years. So option 2A is the Council's current preferred, and that would extend sector separation for 3 more calendar years. Option 2B would extend it for 5 more calendar years, and option 2C would extend it for 10 more calendar years. And finally, the third alternative would be to remove the sunset provision entirely and continue the separate management of federal for hire and private angling components. The Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council plans to take final action on this amendment at their June meeting in Clearwater, Florida. They'd like to hear what you think before they take that final action. So you can either send us your comments by following this link or email us directly at gulfcouncil@gulfcouncil.org. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to the presentation and let us know what you think.